But then he says, when the brain, the mind falls silent, when the brain is active, when the sound comes, this is what happens. But when it falls silent, he falls silent to know it, what has come. Falls silent to know it. Means listening of his soul. When it falls silent, then it listens to what the soul is trying to tell it. Then the word repeats in rhythmic strain. The word which has come, then it repeats in certain rhythmic order. Rhythm. That is the Sanskrit word, rhythm. The movement of truth in the dynamics of his action. The word repeats in rhythmic strain. Thought, feeling, vision, sense, body, self are seized. Everything, all our faculties, then get seized by it. And he endures an ecstasy if he is extremely happy about that kind of thing. He endures an ecstasy and immortal change. The power of that word, when it is received in the silent mind, is to bring about an immortal change. This is what we have got here. Then, falling silent in himself to know, he meets the deeper listening of his soul. The word repeats itself in rhythmic strains. Thought, vision, feeling, sense. The body is a self sees unutterably, and he endures in ecstasy and an immortal change. What a sudden difference there in the description. What the mind, brain receives, and what in the silent mind the soul receives. Such a vast difference is there already here. Now, the word repeats itself in rhythmic strain. It is a kind of a hammer beat. Yes, 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 yes. And it is that power of the sound which starts working even on the physical plane. And then he says, he feels the listener, the hearer of the sound, he feels wideness, brahat, or vastness. He becomes a power. Knowledge rushes unto him like a sea. The whole ocean is flooding into his being. He feels a wideness, W is capital, brahat, wideness, and becomes a power, P is also capital. The whole Shakti comes and gets established herself in him. All knowledge rushes on him like a sea. In fact, this is exactly what happened. All knowledge rushes unto him like a sea. When the mind has fallen silent and when the word is received. This is exactly what happened during the entire Arya period when Shivanga was writing half a dozen books simultaneously, month after month, for 7 years. All knowledge rushed unto him like a vast sea, unceasing. And later on, when somebody asked him, he said that I could have written not for 7 years, but for 70 years. And still, that knowledge would not have been exhausted. So we have missed all that knowledge. We have missed all that knowledge. But he says he could have written for 70 years, you see. So where has that knowledge gone, you see? But I think he has managed to bring all that knowledge of 70 years in one Savitri. He has left it all here in Savitri. If we really open to Savitri, it's not a question of 7 years, not a question of 70 years, not a question of 700 years. It is eternal, it is endless, it is there. The more you plumb into it, the more and more of it comes out of it. Constantly it renews, constantly. So it is there, rushes like a sea, but we are closed, you see. We are not able to. Transcendent, all knowledge rushes on him like a sea, transmuted by the white spiritual ray. That is the change that takes place. It's kind of a transformation. That spiritual knowledge has entered in him. In fact, even the physical body of Shivantu had undergone a change at that time because that knowledge there. Transmuted by the white spiritual ray, he walks in naked heavens of joy and calm. He walks in heaven bare with joy and calm everywhere. And what does he do? He sees the God face and hears transcendent speech, not the ordinary language, not the ordinary word, the transcendent speech. Paravani, Paravani, that is the description. He hears the transcendent speech itself when in joy and in that calm he walks with that knowledge which rushes unto him like a turbulent, bright, luminous sea. When it rushes unto him, he walks like that, you see. This is what has happened. This is not imagination. This is not poetry. This is not even inspiration. This is revelation of his own personal experience. This is a revelation. You walk into heaven and hear transcendent speech, Paravani. According to the Tantric traditions, we have seen last time very briefly, there are 4 grades of speech, starting from the lowest, what we are speaking around, that is called Vaikhari. Next to Vaikhari comes Madhyama. Next to Madhyama comes Paschanti. Next to Paschanti, the topmost is Paravani, the transcendent speech. Paschanti, Madhyama, Vaikhari, beyond all of them, the ineffable, inexpressible, which cannot be really brought into language at all. Now, Vaikhari, we could say that belongs to the physical plane of what we are talking around here, on the gross level, on the material plane here, Vaikhari. That is the language which has got shaped here. Madhyama is intimate. Madhyama, the word itself means intermediate between this and that. She is the intermediate. She belongs to the vital, the life plane. She is the intermediary between the physical and the mental, the spiritual, the higher. The Paschanti is the pure spiritual language. It is the seen. Paschanti means pascha, means see, look. It is the speech which is seen, which is not heard, which is seen. And it is that seen speech which has its birth at the highest level. In fact, we might say that Paschanti var, Paschanti, belongs to the sheer over mental plane. Over mental plane. The gods speak amongst themselves in that language. Paschanti var. The same speech. They see. They don't have to describe like this. They see and talk like that. As I told you earlier, when Mother used to have the visits of Durga during the Durga Puja days in October, year after year, it went on for a number of years. She used to stay with the Mother for a few days at times. And they used to exchange notes, they used to talk and that kind of a thing and all that thing. And then somebody asked the mother later on, but mother, in which language you are speaking? In which language you are speaking? Then of course she said, certainly not in French. They have got another language there, Paschanti word. By vision images, they communicate rapidly, immediately with each other. Now, this particular description, what we have here, these 19 lines, belongs to Paschanti Vak, the whole description. What I said earlier, Paravani, it belongs to that level here. And it has a power. You can see that it is a vision. You can really kind of make a picture of the entire description. The sound comes, it sings, it goes into the ear, stirs the brain, this happens, that happens, and then you see a form, but the form has limitations. It does not grasp the true things which are there. But if your mind falls silent and then the soul hears it, then a total transmutation takes place, and then all the way you are led up to the stage of transcendent speech. Paschanti Vak. Transcendent Paravani, that belongs to the supramental language. Obviously, that language is not available here on earth at this stage. When supermind manifests itself fully, it will speak, it will talk, it will express itself in that language, in para language, paravani, in the transcendent speech. It will speak in that language and express everything, whatever it has to communicate, so to say. Because after all, there are beings, there is a multiplicity, and there has to be some kind of a communication between one and the other. And that communication is done through this mode of communication, vehicle, language, para. And it is that change now of God face which has taken place in Savitri. See, her mind has sort of fallen silent and she is receiving the inspiration, the power. He says, you know, he feels a wildness and becomes a power. Savitri has received that power already, and she is now set on her forward journey. Actually, there is a very beautiful realization of a high mystic quality in St. John's utterance. The very opening sentence of St. John is a real marvel. He must have been one of the highest types of rishis was able to receive that kind of a knowledge. There is no doubt about it. Maybe other things are different, but as far as that inspiration is concerned, something had opened out in him and he receives that thing truly, like Vamadeva, like Agastya, the ancient rishis. I would put this particular thing also in the same kind of a category. St. John's first statement, he says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. In the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word itself was God. That is sheer Om, the power of expression, of manifestation, of putting things in reality in the world of manifestation here. That is the word. That is the meaning of word. You have other metaphysical or Gnostic senses to the word. You say logos, you say Sophia, all those things are there. In Sanskrit also you got Vak, all those things are there. But basically, this is the most crucial experience, this is the most remarkable experience, I must say, and it is put in such a manner here. King James Bible has really caught it in English also. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. It's a very, very rich experience, I must say that. This is what Savitri is here. The word repeats itself in rhythmic strains. That power of expression repeats itself in rhythmic strain. Thought, vision, feeling, sense, the body is a self as sees unutterably, and he endures an ecstasy and an immortal change. That is the word, that is the power of words.